ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या सम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ करुणावरुणालय पालय मां भवसागरदुःखविदूनहृदं रचयाखिलदर्शनतत्त्वविदं भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणम्। ॐ समस्तब्रह्मविद्या आचार्येभ्यो नमः। ऋषिभ्यो नमः, मुनिभ्यो नमः, गुरुभ्यो नमः, श्रुतिमात्रे नमः। ओम श्री अथर्व ऋषये नमः। ओम मंडूकमहर्षये नमः। ओम श्री गौडपादाचार्य सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री आद्य शंकर सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम अथ अथर्ववेदान्तर्गत माण्डूक्य उपनिषत् पारायणम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ओमित्येतत् अक्षरमिदगं सर्वं तस्योपव्याख्यानं भूतं भवद्भविष्यदिति सर्वमोङ्कार एव। यच्चान्यत्रिकालातीतं तदप्योङ्कार एव। सर्वं हि एतद् ब्रह्म अयमात्मा ब्रह्म सोऽयमात्मा चतुष्पात् जागरितस्थानः बहिष्प्रज्ञः सप्ताङ्गः एकोनविंशतिमुखः स्थूलभुग्वैश्वानरः प्रथमपादः स्वप्नस्थानः अन्तःप्रज्ञः सप्ताङ्गः एकोनविंशतिमुखः प्रविविक्तभुक्तैजसः द्वितीयपादः यत्र सुप्तो न कञ्चन कामं कामयते न कञ्चन स्वप्नं पश्यति तत्सुषुप्तं सुषुप्तस्थानः एकीभूतः प्रज्ञानगण एव आनन्दमयो हि आनन्दभुक् चेतोमुखः प्राज्ञः तृतीयपादः एष सर्वेश्वरः एष सर्वज्ञः एषोऽन्तर्यामी एष योनिः सर्वस्य प्रभवाप्ययो हि भूतानां नान्तः प्रज्ञं न बहिष्प्रज्ञं नोभयत प्रज्ञं न प्रज्ञानघनं न प्रज्ञं न प्रज्ञम् अदृष्टम् अव्यवहार्यम् अग्राह्यम् अलक्षणम् अचिन्त्यम् अव्यपदेश्यम् एकात्मप्रत्ययसारम् प्रपञ्चोपशमं शान्तं शिवम् अद्वैतं चतुर्थं मन्यन्ते स आत्मा स विज्ञेयः सोऽयमात्मा अधि अक्षरम् ओङ्कारः अधिमात्रम् पादामात्राः मात्राश्च पादाः अकार उकारो मकार इति जागरितस्थानः वैश्वानरः अकारः प्रथमा मात्रा आप्तेः आदिमत्वाद्वा आप्नोति ह वै सर्वान् कामान् आदिश्च भवति य एवं वेद। स्वप्नस्थानः तैजसः उकारः द्वितीया मात्रा उत्कर्षाद् उभयत्वाद्वा उत्कर्षति ह वै ज्ञानसन्ततिं समानश्च भवति न अस्य ब्रह्मवित्कुले भवति य एवं वेद। सुषुप्तस्थानः प्राज्ञः मकारः तृतीया मात्रा मितेः अपीतेः वा मिनोति ह वा इदं सर्वम् अपेतिश्च भवति य एवं वेद। अमात्रः चतुर्थः अव्यवहार्यः प्रपञ्चोपशमः शिवः अद्वैतः एवमोङ्कारः आत्मा एव संविशत्यात्मनात्मानं य एवं वेद ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ अथ अलातशान्त्याख्य चतुर्थप्रकरणम्। ॐ वैशारद्यन्तु वै नास्ति भेदे विचरतां सदा भेदनिम्नाः पृथग्वादाः तस्मात् ते कृपणा स्मृताः अजे साम्ये तु ये केचित् भविष्यन्ति सुनिश्चिताः ते हि लोके महाज्ञानाः तच्च लोको न गाहते अजेष्वजम् असङ्क्रान्तं धर्मेषु ज्ञानमिष्यते यतो न क्रमते ज्ञानम् असङ्गं तेन कीर्तितम्। Let us salute wholeheartedly the entire Rishi Parampara, the Guru Parampara, the Mandukya Upanishad Parampara, and the Guru Parampara to which we belong, who are continuously guiding us and guarding us. Having said so, unless we study the scriptures, we in a state of confusion take that life as a goal which leads only to the bondage. Therefore, it becomes necessary for any wanting to evolve human being to study the scriptures. Among all the scriptures, it is the Vedanta Shastra which we have to study because that alone indicates to us the never returning eternal permanent goal, fully with all the authorities, logics, examples. And this conviction about the goal is such a thing that through the study of Shastra regularly, we have to keep it up even our heart. Because the various factors, if this consistency is not there in the study of Shastras under the guidance of Guru, then this is forgotten by us that the self or the Lord is the only goal. Therefore, to remind ourselves about our ultimate goal and the path to reach that, we definitely have to, throughout, day in and day out, throughout life, we have to keep on to such an extent that always the goal lingers in our mind. Like for the worldly people, whatever the thing they like it, they make it as goal. And that goal, so much they remember that it becomes an intense desire for them that they want to reach that alone at any and every cost. In the same way, study of Shastra followed by the conviction about the goal should become so strong that other than that we should not seek anything else. First, this is the stage we have to achieve through the regular, continuous, constant study of Shastra. For the sadhaka, we are saying. For the samsari, we need not say, they never ask us, they think what they know is right and they know it and they do it. We need not worry. They see the arthagama, they indulge in that. Sometimes they know little dharma, they practice that and they continue. There is no understanding or idea, even effort for them to know what's the purpose of human life, what is the acme a human being can reach out to, and even why the bondages, how to rise above them, why these limitations, how to rise above them. All these things never click to them. They are pakka samsari. For them, the world is where I am born, I will die. Between that, I'll put whatever abilities that I can do with ability, what I can earn, efforts. With the efforts, whatever I gain, I am satisfied with them. Living in the love, Deha Indriya. Sometimes they come to the level of emotions and experience them love, give and take. Little intellectually, they may discover something or contribute to the world. They're all samsaris. They go through that. Let them. But the ones who are pursuing the ultimate truth, the ones who want to know the substratum behind the entire world, the one who want to transcend all the limitations once for all, the ones who want to experience the infinitude, the eternity, they are called Adhyatmika Sadhakas. For them, the necessary of studying the Vedanta Shastra for conviction about the goal. Now, if the goal we are convinced about, it is only half of the thing done. The rest half of it is what? Even though we are convinced about the goal, our reaching the goal starts from where we are. Therefore, as much we cannot escape the study of the Shastra to know what is our goal, so much we can never escape the sadhana to be done from the scratch level. How much our Vedanta we know? Without Viveka and Vairagya and without putting limitations to our involvement in the world, our journey towards the goal has never started. Please remember it. After that, without understanding the Prakriti, the nature, in the form of Deha and Indriyas, their limitations, and in the pursuit of excellence called as spiritual evolution, how these have to be managed or understood or the controlled or disciplined or transcended. Without the thorough understanding of that and not without practicing, our spiritual goal only remains theory because of the contradiction. Then the self is said to be that infinite, sublime, subtlemost truth, reality. Okay, that's our goal. And what is the life we are living at? At the grossest level of taking the world as real, indulgence in the world as source of happiness, and that too 24 hours, remaining only as aham dehosmi. Without consciously understanding that every moment these are the thoughts that are coming in mind, when I execute these thoughts in the form of action, it strengthens my deha adatmya, it strengthens the reality given to the world. These two are contradictory to my goal that I want to know the self, which is beyond all this. Therefore, my goal is not these two. Therefore, I will try not to live life at this level. What to do for that? How to reject the attraction of the senses and the body, and how to reject the deha, indriya, tadatmya. We have to keep our goal aside and practice this as a goal. नहीं तो वहां जाने के लिए कभी भी परमिशन वीजा नहीं मिलेगा. And as a part of this, you know, as a part of this, transcending our outer involvement and transcending of Deha Indriya Upadhi, whatever the sadhanas which are said in other yogas of karma or bhakti or ashtanga, they have to be must and should practiced. They have to be practiced. Without them, the Vedanta can never made be practical to experience it out. That means what? Some of the disciplines at the senses and body level we must have. Some of the asanas ityadi we do and we must control our mind. Definitely the pranas have to be managed through some pranayama and we have to master our be attentive activities of the body and the energies of the prana. This is the 25% of sadhana, practical. Then comes the big chunk of the 50% of sadhana, wherein the second aspect of practicality, the thorough understanding about mind in general and our mind in particular, and how this mind is playing all sorts of tricks or havocs, because of which we are continuously living only at the level of the mind, not able to transcend it to discover the absolute subtlemost truth. This thing has to be studied exhaustively by everyone, the true serious sincere seeker. Without exhaustive study and without fully managing and mastering and transcending it, that again the self can never be experienced. That is told by the Vedanta. In fact, the Vedanta is the indicator of the goal. That's all. More than that, Vedanta cannot do anything. And one among the Vedantin, after getting the indication, if he has got a very high level of qualification and is able to do the Anvaya Vyatireka at the guidance of the Guru, such very rare one doesn't need other things. In other words, he has done all the other sadhanas in the earlier lives. Then he can say, now I am able to visualize the self because I have transcended all the upadhi tadatmya. That is one among millions. But to all the minus 1 million people, they have to go through this process. Else, there will be such a terrible, heavy conflict in us. That we want to reach to that goal, but we are only at the level of mind with all its imagination, with all its projections, with all its temptation, with all its emotions, with all its uncontrolled, unruly, continuous anxieties, fears, frustrations. अब इतना कचरा रख के मन में कोई भगवान को पा सकते हैं क्या बताओ? Therefore, I must follow all the values said in Gita, the Shastra. I must follow all the rules told in the Yoga Sutra of Yama Niyama, the Ahimsa, the Satyam, the Asteya, the Brahmacharya, the Aparigraha, the Shaucha, the Santosha, Swadhyaya, Tapa, Ishvara Pranidhana. If these at this level, if you don't deliberately, consciously take them up and practice, all our spiritual emancipation is only a mere dream. One can never. Maybe not in this life. Will I get next life? No. Even if it is million lives, we will never get it unless these things are done. Everything. Sharira Dhrudata, Sharira Arogya and Asana Siddhi. Indriya Nigraha, Indriya Shakti. Mano Nigraha, Manasika Sataguna. All of them are not just freely available in any dukan. We have to achieve them with all the practices told. Nobody else can be telling us, nobody else can be doing them for us. And without these things, we attend to that the truth which we talk about, the self, the ajam, abhya, krutam, ajaram, amaram, sadghanam, chitghanam, anandaganam, उसके हम ना पास भी नहीं जा सकते. Even the trace of it, smell of it also can never be gained by us. Even we may live million light years of time. Or it's a distance. Million lives also we may live through, but that only remains as a dream. And that thing becomes a comfort. What's that? I've understood Vedanta and I'm able to manage my life outside. Therefore, it is a fulfillment. There's no bigger, greater cheating than this and misguiding others. First of all, if you are convinced about the ultimate goal, the truth, you must be convinced to experience it. फर्स्ट तो वो दिल में वो दृढ़ता से रहना है. You understand it? I must experience it. If that is not there, then the people, there's no difference between a philosophy studied person and a worldly person. He only has a heavy load of Vedanta with study of Upanishad. Other than that, as regard the life is concerned, same to him and also the one who never studied. So that is where the help of the Guru comes, where he says, Beta theory tumne samjha, but never ever be satisfied with that. There should be a yearning and desire burning to know that experience, to get that experience. And theory has never ever helped anyone, whether it is worldly or in the spiritual fields. I must, I must, I must. जस्ट लाइक ए भूखे व्यक्ति को मुझे खाना पाना है इस तरह से होता है. जैसे स्वर्ग कामी को मुझे स्वर्ग पाना है ऐसा होता है. जैसे भगवान के भक्त को आई मस्ट हैव द दर्शन ऑफ माय लॉर्ड. You know, he is called as a bhakta. The one who seeks the darshan of the Lord is called as bhakta. The one who says that I am a bhakta, it's a convenience. It is not sincerity. Information is different, convenience is different, sincerity is different. Many people have information. Many among them use it for convenience. Only few are the ones who are sincere, aiming at. We're talking about the sincere bhakta. They day in and day out do all those things required to have the sakshatkar of their upasya devata. And some of them, they may not have the desire to have darshana upasya devata, but wherever he is there, let him fulfill my desire. For that, I am doing this tapasya, this vrata, this diksha, this anushtanam. They don't give it up, they do it. They are the great people, much greater perhaps than this pseudo theoretical Vedantina who is satisfied with only theory, not even putting one step towards that because he is so much established in his luxuries and comforts of the Dehadi Upad. Those people are better because they are doing some vrata to achieve something, though that goal is not ultimate. but they have achieved some goal. For that, they did some sacrifice, they did some hardship, they did some tapasya, they have transcended some limitation. They are better. That's what is the Vivekananda Ityadi saying. That person who is playing football in the ground is better than the one who is on the name of sadhana or Vedanta sitting at one place in a lazying out the time. Because that fellow is at least vigorously making the body work, sweat and toil. Then the exercise is happening to the body, at least you will enjoy the healthy body. Whereas in Vedantin, on only the name of that I am not body, I am not the mind, he is just blabbering only, not putting even one step towards that. And he will have all the physical diseases. He'll have all psychological aberrations of same attachments, perhaps more worse than the worldly person, and with all sufferings in him, he can be most humiliating person to himself and also to all the Rishi Muni. That's what is the cry of Gaudapadacharya toward the end when he calls all such people as Krupana. Now, after studying Vedanta, can we afford to continue to be a Krupana? देन द वेदांत को ही हमने बेइज्जत कर दिया कि नहीं. Then how to rise above the Karpanatha? Only by discovering self. How do you do that? Without these basic A to A sadhanas from beginning onwards, one cannot do. Especially at the mind level. Unless the chitta vrittis are shuddha made shuddha and they are niruddha, and unless the ekagrata of the chitta is achieved, unless chitta is purified with absolute sattva guna, there is not even even trace of disturbance that is happening in the chitta. It is always in the samya sthiti. Unless this is achieved, you can never discover the Paramatma. You can never do the rejection of the Upadhi. I have to reject the Upadhi and do the Anvaya of the Paramatma. It is a sadhana to know. But you can never reject the Upadhi unless it is controlled, unless it is mastered. And that is not taught by Vedanta. Vedanta only indicates to you the truth. But to reach to that truth, everyone will have to do sadhana. You understand it? Never ever get carried away by theory, and also never satisfy that I understood it, nor by not repeatedly studying, forget the Vedanta it is which is learned. Keep continuously studying and be in touch with the ultimate goal. At the same time, the tadapa should be there inside. I must reach, I must reach, I must reach. And for that, now I am as a jiva and deha. This is how I am involving mentally and physical activities in this way every moment. In and through this, I am jiva deha alone is established. I must come out of it. At that level only, the niyantrana of the indriyas, the nigraha of the deha, all that come. Is it not? In the Paramatma, there is no Deha. Deha only seeks the Nidra. Then how can a seeker of the truth can sleep? If one is habituated to the sleep, how much our Vedanta theory has got is only at the Deha level. He is not able to sit for hours together for contemplation. That means he is at the Deha Tadatmya level. Then how to do that? You have to repair it. That repairing is taught to us by other sadhanas of self-control, the exercises, yoga, the discipline, the fitness, along with the commitment. I must sit for 8-10 hours without moving to transcend the upadhi to know the truth. So to the Indriyas, how much they are making us slave with all our Vedantic jnana. We can't be without satisfying the tongue, without satisfying the ears. Then where is your Vedanta? Where is your Atmanubhava, which is beyond all that? So theory reh gaya. They were practically like the Pawan Maharajadi. They have denied the taste given to the tongue for throughout life. Not one day, 2 day. One day, 2 day कोई भी करता है जब बुखार होता है या डायरिया होता है. They never yielded their eyes for any forms other than that of the Lord. They never let lose their ears for any information other than Paramatma. Do we do that? Are we doing that? Have we started it? Did we find importance of that? Do we find any need of that? उतना भी हम नहीं आगे बढ़े. See, that is why, because after Karma Yoga, Jnana Karma Sannyasa, then only the Dhyana Yoga taught in 6th. So too, After the Bhakti Yoga of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 only, again the Jnana Marga of the Kshetra Vibhaga, Gunatraya Vibhaga was taught. Again, it's only after the Daivasura Sampada Vibhaga of 16th chapter, when you reject Asura Sampada and gain Daivi Sampada, again Moksha Sannyasa is taught. Means what? The entire Vyaktitva of mine, whether it's Deha, Indriya, Mana, Buddhi, I have to take them into my confidence. I have to fully, thoroughly polish it, wash it, or purify it. Then only I can reject it to know the self. Without doing all these sadhanas, knowing the truth is impossible. That means what? A bhogi, considering himself as a yogi by only knowing the theory, is only the mental, spiritual, physical rogi only. Let us not fall trap to that. At every level of our personality, we should master them so that they are no more liability in our pursuit of meditation, pursuit of experiencing what theoretically we understood, that there is only one truth, which is Ekameva Advayam Brahma, Nehana Nasti Kinchana. So keep that in mind. At every level, the sadhana must be done by us. Hmm. नहीं तो माया का जो स्कर्ट है ना निकलता नहीं. Then with all the study of Shastra, with so many years spent with the Guru, I could not even withstand to the body's ailments by becoming a Sakshi to it. I could not even control or transcend the temptations of the Indriyas. Then what have you done, my dear? That is why the Yamani Shamadamadi sadhana. Viveka Vairagya, then Shama, Mano Nigraha, Dhamma, Indriya Nigraha, चक्षुरादि बाह्येन्द्रिय निग्रह देन उपरति स्वधर्मानुष्ठानमेवा तितिक्षा देन श्रद्धा समाधानम. देखो ये छह नहीं है तो इवन लिसनिंग फ्रॉम द गुरु द थियरी आल्सो इज इम्पॉसिबल. That is the reason with so many years spent, still the pakka understanding and pakka conviction is not coming to us of any topic. Everything is vague. What is moksha? If I ask you, vague. Divine moksha. What is bandhana? Vague. What is atma, anatma? What is the viveka? What are means the definition of upadhi? What is the meaning of adhisthana, adhyaropa, adhyar? कुछ भी पूछो हमको पता नहीं रहता वो. Like the half-minded student in the class listens in such a way, when the teacher asks anything later on, he says पता नहीं. तो बैठा ही ना इधर, हाँ यहीं बैठा था मैं, सुन रहे थे, हाँ ये सर भी हिला रहे थे, हाँ सब कुछ, बट मैं पूछता हूँ कुछ याद नहीं है. क्यों? वेगनेस. Why is it so? Yama Niyama are not done. Or Shamadama, they are not done. Viveka Vairagya Shamadama nahi hai. Now, without Viveka Vairagya and Shamadama, how can there be subtlety, purity and stamina in our Antakarana to listen what Shastra is saying, to logically inquire at that time only and understand, and also to retain? Now you understand what is said by Lord Krishna in Gita. Indriyanam hi charatam yanmana anuvidiyate tadasya harati prajnam vairnava vambasa. That mind which is running behind the senses which are grazing the world will lose all the prajna which has got. Prajna means three things. One, the prajna of his conviction of the knowledge. Second is the prajna to gain the knowledge. Third is the prajna even to withstand to the worldly temptation. All the three are lost when he runs behind the world. Therefore, what is meant with asmatvam indriyani ado niyamya bharatarshava? Is it not? Yesterday in Bhagavad also, what Bhagavan said? Tasmad uddhava asad indriyaihi vishyan na seveta. Boiling down to that only, with all the ultimate Vedantic Jnanam given, sadhana starts from where we have to start. It is there only. How important मोक्ष ज्ञान देते हुए भगवान सडनली ए टॉपिक कह रहे, मतलब क्या है? सडनली नहीं है. इट स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम देयर ओनली. वी हैव टू गार्ड आवर सेल्स विद दैट, in that regard throughout life. Anybody for that matter. Else we may boast outside that we are seekers by variety of Vesha Bhusha. We may cheat people or we may convince people we are so, but we are only cheating ourselves. Better than this person is the one who is serving the world, who is loving the world, who is working hard in the world in creating some more comforts to the people, in creating some nidhi or resources. That person is better. That's why vigorously involve in the world and create the things and serve the world, or else vigorously involve in all the sadhanas right from the beginning until on the deep heated meditation, dissolve all the tadatma with the upadhis and dehadi, upadhis and jiva bhava. But jiva bhava upadhi dissolution will never happen without these initial sadhanas. They are, keep that in mind. Otherwise, you can sit for meditation without doing meditation. We can sit for japa, but never happens the japa. Every day we sit for puja. It is not at all called as puja because all of them involve our upadhis, and upadhis we have never mastered. We have never disciplined. We have never controlled them. We never felt the need of that because of the misguidance of Vedanta. Vedanta never misguided. We misguided. We got misguided by them. World never misguides. Each in our murkhata we get misguided. So too, that सिद्धांत समझने से सब कुछ हो जाता है, ऐसा कोई भी कहता है तो पूरा नहीं समझना उसको, पूरा उसको पक्का नहीं. That is for some people who have done all this sadhana. मतलब क्या है शॉर्टकट में, जो 2 घंटे ध्यान में नहीं बैठ सकता, उसके लिए देह को तैयार नहीं किया. जो इंद्रियों के सुख भोग के बिना नहीं रह सकता, उस बंदे के लिए आत्मानुभव इट इज ओनली ए सपना, इट इज इम्पॉसिबल. जिनके मन में प्रेम आदि सद्गुण नहीं आए, राग आदि दुर्गुण नहीं गए, है ना, you think you will be able to transcend that. You sit on the for meditation, but 3 hours you may sit, but your mind only is running in the things and beings and people, worries and anxieties of the past and future. Only remembering the bhoga which was done and you want to do it in future. You will never remember even one sloka of Mandukya or any Upanishad. Even you remember, you don't know the word meaning. अरे वर्ड मीनिंग नहीं पता तो कारिका when will you know, the भाष्य when will you know, and when do we lift ourselves to that level? वो दूर की बात. That is why bahunam janmanamante. That is also unless we every life do something. That's why commitment in this life. I will transcend the deha tadatmya by fully detaching with the deha and its bhoga. इतना भी अचीव करो, great achievement it is. Keep intact the theory. This all is done for knowing the truth. Then एक इंद्रिय. Then to control the mind, it will take some 100 lives. थोड़े हाथ में आएगा. ओ इट इज सो फिसला हुआ है माइंड. लगता है पकड़ा, भाई तो नहीं पकड़ो, ये फिसल गए. Is it not? And enters into the tamoguna and rajoguna. And what's the biggest thing the mind does is what? When you try to control it, he will not allow you to control. And when you try too much, it demoralizes to say that I can't control mind, therefore better let me give up spiritual sadhana. Let me give up, it is impossible. How many people with the thought that it is impossible have given up sadhana? याद रखो. How many of you thought it is impossible to continue study, therefore you gave up? That's how the mind cheats. It makes it impossible, and after saying so, because it's impossible, therefore let us give it up. That's how the mind tells. एंड इट्स सो कन्वीनियंट थिंग ना. 2 बातें, ये मेरे से नहीं होता है और मैं वहाँ खुश हूँ. इट्स इनफ. Swamiji, I can't come to your class regularly and I'm happy with my all things. It is enough to close the entire discussion of spirituality. हो गया बात. Such is the thing with which you have to guard. Always remember, I must experience the truth self. For that, I have to transcend all the upadhi, and for that, thoroughly, vigorously, all the sadhanas, taking every upadhi into the account, I have to do, by which they are all controlled or managed, then only we can transcend. देह को कंट्रोल किए बिना उसको आप ट्रांसेंड नहीं कर सकते. इंद्रियों को नियंत्रण किए बिना यू कांट ट्रांसेंड देम. Mind without making it fully under control, we cannot keep it aside and go for meditation. It's just like children. If you don't control them, you can't tell them, shut up, do that work, मुझे काम करने. If you don't discipline them, control them right from beginning, they'll be nagging so much that they'll not allow you to do anything. In the olden days, 10 बच्चे होते थे. Nobody will disturb mother, father. They are doing their own works because they are controlled and disciplined. Hey, chop. That's it. अब एक बच्चा है इतना राक्षस, you will not allow the entire house to do their work. We are not controlled. So too is our Vyaktitva. I have to understand my mana, its position now, and how it is liability for the meditation, then how to modify it. That's what I said. The frustration, the depression, the dejections, and all of them because of attachment. And I must get out of the attachment is the goal we have to keep. Not even with one thing or one person, even in dream, I should not have the attachment. That should be the goal. This is nothing to do with Paramatma. But this is what when I do, then only the mind stops fluttering, stops all this rajas and tamas. Then only we can say, mana asmi, aham atmas. मैं मन नहीं हूँ परमात्मा हूँ कहने के लिए मन आपके हाथ में है पहले तो होना चाहिए ना. वो तो अपने भाग ही रहा है बिकॉज अटैचमेंट्स. एंड टू आवर ओन दे हैव सो मच अटैचमेंट. इतना शौक करते हैं उसका. We have never even tried to courageously, daringly say and do the things by which we prove, yes, I am detached from the Deha. दिखाओ 3 दिन बिना सोए तब देखते हैं क्या होगा. 3 दिन बिना खाए ना मरोगे क्या देखते हैं मरने तो. That's what the tapasya's they did earlier. That's how they master the upadhis. Then only they will give us permission to know the truth. Otherwise, क्या है बैठ देखता तुम बैठ ना जब तुम बैठ तब मैं आऊंगा. Really with all our feeling we sit for meditation, then the body is बैठ गया ना. अब बता बेटा घुटने में दर्द, काफ मसल में दर्द, पेट में भूख. इज इट नॉट हो गया बात जा लौट जा उधर खाना खा ले. Immediately we go. Mind also, अच्छा तू you want to know the self, बैठ तब बताता हूँ. Then it will bring all the kachra of the past and all. We only indulge in that. आए थे हरिभजन को और कर रहे थे और कुछ काम. And like this, it goes on millions of lives, not one day, 2 day. Therefore, having known the theory of Parabrahma Tattva, on this front we have to work hard. And when we start doing that, then we will know how deep rooted are our vasanas, how many number of the vasanas are there, how uncontrolled, unruly are our mind, etc. तब जाकर पता चलता है what is the meaning of tapasya, what is the meaning of adhyatmic sadhana, and what struggle all the great rishis, munis might have gone through to reach. Today's lesson is that because I should not leave me and you half understood by the time we conclude the Upanishad. Let us not be satisfied by only studying Upanishad and theory. No. अपने आप को हमें इंस्पायर करना. Nobody is there for us. You and I are alone. कोई है नहीं. खुद को समझाना पड़ता है. तो मुझे करना है, मुझे ध्यान, मुझे पाना है परमात्मा को. मुझे उपाधियों के ऊपर उठना है, उनको नियंत्रण करना है. All that. For that, this is to be done, that is to be done. Do all the things that are understood. Having said so, now yesterday to the question that there is pramana, prameya, pramata, prama, relativity is there, observed. When you said in this 95th shloka, अजय साम्ये तो एकेचित् भविष्यन्ति सुनिश्चिताः ते हि लोके महाज्ञानाः तच्च लोको न गाहते. Now we are all straight all that. Now we have come to our Mandukya Upanishad Karikas, which is theory talking ultimate. So that means there is Pramana, Prameya, Dvaita there in your truth too, because it has to be known and all. You said it is knowable thing, you are the knower, this is the way to know. That's what is answered here. Very sublime shloka. We tried yesterday to explain 70-80%. अजेष्वजम् असङ्क्रान्तं धर्मेषु ज्ञानमिष्यते यतो न क्रमते ज्ञानम् असङ्गं तेन कीर्तितम्. अजेष्वजम् असङ्क्रान्तं अधर्मेषु ज्ञानमिष्यते यतो न क्रमते ज्ञानम असंगम तेन कीर्तितम्. So ajeshu dharmeshu jnanam asangam akrant ajam asankrantam ishyate. Ajeshu dharmeshu jnanam ajam asankrantam ishyate. Ishyate means being spoken by the experienced saints. What is that? Ajeshu dharmeshu jnanam. The knowledge and experience of the aja dharma, that is atma vastu, is ajam and asankrant. What is ajam? It is not created because of the pramana prameya vyavahara. And then Sankranta means what? It is not the Sankramita Jnanam. What is not the Sankramita Jnanam? This knowledge is not dependent on Upadhi, it is not depending on the Vyapara Upadhi, and nor this knowledge of the Atma is like the knowledge of the world where the Pramana Prameya Vachara is required. Rather, that is an abstraction. Because as long as Pramana Prameya Vichara is there, the Jnana is only Siddhantika, not Anubhava. Secondly, the self by itself, which we have to realize, is not depending on any pramana. Swayam pramanatvat. Remember, it is self-evident too, it is self-dependent too, and it is self-existing, it is self-effulgent. Who is that self I am talking about? It is me. And there is nothing other than it also. And it doesn't need anything else. So, Ajeshu Dharmeshu, Ajam Asankrantam Jnanavishyate. It is not the Sankramana Jnana that because of some bringing together of some media that we got that knowledge. Asankramana Jnana. Like I got a knowledge of the forms of the world. It's a Sankramita Jnana because I must have the eyes to see it. I must have the mind behind the eyes. Then only the Jnanam that is a form or that is a color is gained. Is it not? But the Atma Tattva which is there inside, neither require nor impossible, nor, and also it's an abstraction if the eyes or mind are used, because it is not the color and form outside. It is self-existing, self-evident, self-effulgent, self-within. So Ajeshu Dharmeshu Jnanam Ajam and Asankranta means what? Be attentive. It was not that sometime it was not aware, therefore we are becoming aware. The awareness is aware of itself all the time. And it is doesn't need any pramana prameya vyapara for it to be known by itself. Then what are you doing so far in the study and meditation contemplation? You, the jiva, who is thinking you are real, by identifying yourself as upadhi, you are detaching yourself from upadhi and you are dissolving your individuality. That is the entire result of all sadhana. That is not the resulting in the Atmanubhuti. Atmanubhuti is not caused by these things. As we told million times, the winds blow away the clouds, then the sun is seen. Therefore, the winds blowing away the cloud is the cause of seeing sun. If you say it is wrong, seeing sun means creating sun. Sun is ever there. The blockade happened because of the clouds. Clouds are removed. So the entire sadhana is not to bring the sun there, not to manifest him. He is always there, he is bright and brilliant. What is there is the clouding. Clouding is removed by the winds. That's it. It is experienced. So every sadhana भगवान को जानने के लिए नहीं है, वो पाने के लिए नहीं है, क्योंकि वो ऑलरेडी जानकारी उनका स्वरूप है और ऑलरेडी पाया हुआ चीज है. Then what is every sadhana that is done? Only to reject the notions that I don't know the self and I am not the self. Therefore, Ajeshu Dharmeshu Jnanam Ajam Asankrantam Ishyat. In this Asankranti of Jnana, what is meant by? The knowledge of the world cannot be like the knowledge of the self without any pramana prameya vyavahara. And the self knowledge or experiences cannot be like the knowledge of the world. World knowledge needs pramana prameya vyavahara, then only you get the prama, that is called knowledge. Pramana means, prameya is the one which is to be known. And I am the pramata. Pramata knows prameya through pramana. And the knowledge of the prameya is called prama. So kurchi is prameya. Kurchi knowledge is prama. I is the pramana, and I am the one knower of it is pramata. This vyapara is not possible in the self and in the world without the pramana prameya you can't. Therefore, asankranta means what here? That means of knowledge in the worldliness cannot enter into the knowing of the self, and the self knowledge cannot be known through that. That is called ajeshu dharmeshu jnanam asankrantam asangam. Therefore, what is said? Ataha uh, what is said there? Therefore, yato na kramate jnanam asangam tena kirtitam. Therefore, the Atma Jnanam is so beautiful, it has no sangha with any of the Pramana Prameya and their Vyapara. It has to be like that only. And that's why one becomes frustrated to understand it, even gets frightened also. But fact remains as fact. What's the fact? In the experience of the self, there is no experiencer. You can't even call it as an experience. So, but these are the only words which we know in the world that alone we can use to say. You understand? It's not the knowing of something as a knower me, as it is other than me. It's an experience without the experiencer. It's an experience without an experiencer. It becomes very tough. Then there's always fear comes. Then I will not be there. You will not be there as an independent, separate entity, as a knower of something other than you. That त्रिपुटी gets dissolved there. वहाँ तीन चीजें नहीं है कि एक जानने वाला है, एक चीज जाना जाता है और उसको जानना. वही तो हम बता रहे हैं शुरू से. That is why I, who was habituated to experience the world through the upadhi, gets frightened with this thought कि you will not be there to experience, then I can't do that. क्योंकि मुझे अपने आप का रहने का इच्छा है. That is called as the most powerful and final obstruction in Vedanta, called as, technically, though it is a yoga bhasha, it is called as asmita. That asmita, that मुझे कुछ तो बनकर रहना है वाला मुझे अपने स्वरूप तक जाने नहीं देता. That fear of losing our individuality. And in the self, there is no individuality. It is universal. It is total. But this fear of losing individuality doesn't allow us to enter into this. इसलिए भटकते रहते उधर ही बहुत समय तक. Only when finally ready to accept this fact, I must dissolve my individuality, that is revealed. Only when you dissolve the व्यक्तित्व. नहीं तो अस्मिता पकड़ के रखता है. Therefore, asangam tena kirtitam is very interesting. That means to that Atma Jnana, Atmanubhuti, there is no sangha with any theory we do, any practice you do. उसको उससे कोई संग नहीं है, वो अपने आप में अलग विराजमान है. It has no conditioning of the pramana pramayadi vyavahar. That is why we say it is always the anubhava pramana, anubhava gamya. It is known only through our experience. It is not by intellectual understanding, not by mind's emotion, nor seen through the senses as a perceivable thing. कोई प्रमाण नहीं करता. That is why, because there is no pramana, then how to do? That's why we say Shastra Pramana. Because no any individual can be pramana to me, nor I only myself with my indriya manabuddhi are pramana to it. What is left to us is therefore only Shastra Pramana. Shastra Pramana is to push up to that level. But after that, Shastra itself also not Pramana. It only gave theory. Anubhava Gamyam, Anubhava Pramanam. So Ajeshu Dharmeshu Jnanam Ajam Asankrantam. So the experience of the self is not like the experience of worldly things, where the Sankramana is thereof, the Prakriya of Pramana Pramayadi Vyavahara, Vyapara. इसका अर्थ क्या हुआ कि इफ द नोअर ऑफ द सेल्फ इज नॉट देयर देन द सेल्फ इज नॉट देयर. ऐसी बात नहीं है. लाइक The knower of the chair is not there, then chair is not there. So too, if the knowledge of the chair or self is not there, then the self is not there. ऐसा नहीं है. Whether I become knower of it or not, whether I have the knowledge of it or not, it is always there. That's called asankramana. And translate it to yourself. Means what? I am that self who is eternally there, even when I was ignorant, even when I am wise, at the level of ignorance, even when I was identifying the upadhi and functioning. More मजेदार बात क्या है? Even after knowing the self, upadhis will continue functioning. That time also, the Atma Anubhava is not disturbed by them. That's the difference between the Jivan Mukta using Upadhi and Baddha using Upadhi. Baddha Vyakti is slave of the Upadhi, he forgets the self. Jivan Mukta knows that he is a self, then he is using the Upadhi for any of the work to be done. At that time also, all these works he does with the Upadhi will never do the Sankramanam. That's why I said it's not comprehensible that way. Only when you reach it, you will know it. Ajeshu Dharmeshu Jnanam Ajam Asankranta. Neither the Pramana Prameya Vyapara gives that knowledge, nor without Pramana Prameya Vyavahara, not that that knowledge cannot be experienced. Nor that after experiencing it has any contradiction with the presence of world. Rendo na rendo. That is called asankrantam. That is a peculiarity of that self. Is it not? Therefore, what it boils down to is I as a jiva separating from that myself only with upadhi in this world I am suffering. So therefore, what is entire Shastra is talking, remember, Shastra is not talking about the Paramatma, not talking about the Jagat, not talking about upadhi, not talking about Vyavahara, not talking about Bandhanam. All Shastra talk about I. Where am I positioning myself? नॉट ऑल थियरीज. अब थियरी कुछ भी पढ़ो, यू आर फंस गए फिर से मन में, विचारों में. वेदांत अधि आत्मा, दैट इज द मीनिंग, नो. अधि मीन्स टुवर्ड्स, रिलेटेड टू अराउंड आत्मा, द सेल्फ. So all Shastras addressing to your own self. Which self you are taking yourself? Pseudo wrong self or the real self? The real self is Pramana Prameyadi Rahita. It is Swayam Pramana. That's the experience. But to reach to that, the all Pramana Prameya Vyapara is required in the beginning to reject the anatmas. अनात्म तादात्म्य को रिजेक्ट करने के लिए ये बहुत जरूरी होता है. You see, when you take out water from a well, what brings the water from the well is the balti, the bucket, not the rope. But can the balti go and bring the water without the rope? Is it not? Unless you tie that to the rope and drop it, you can't. But the rope is never bringing water. So to the Pramana Prameya Vyavahara never gives the Atma Anubhuti. But without that, the Anubhuti will not come. The Anubhuti is the bringing water from the well. We should know it. Don't caught up at the Pramana Prameya also, and don't reject it also. Use it to reject all the Anatma. Then at the Atma Anubhuti is Ajam Asankrantam it is. That is why the royalness of that Atmanubhuti, that like a lion, whether others recognize me or not, I am the king of the jungle. Dekho, I am king of the jungle, not for others to recognize. I am king, that's it. You understand? Try to catch that subtle point. Like many people have that itching that whatever they know, they want to do the pradarshana of it and get respect or applause from others. Applause, isn't it? Some people, they always are in that itching of do the pradarshana, they are singers. So they want to have all the variety of the activities or programs. Then people should clap for them. ये खुजली होती है उनको. But they are great singer, no doubt about it. Some or the other concert should be done, and I must have. But there are some very rare singers, the Haridas Giri type. I am a great singer or I am a great bhakta, not for the people. I am the bhakta, I am the, that's it. There's no ego. I know it, I can sing. I can sing to myself. Or I may not even sing, but I know I am the singer. I am really can sing because I am from Punjab. In Punjab, everybody sing. But others are not there to listen, others are not there to applaud. How does it matter to me? Try to feel that. That lioness, कि others recognize and I am Raja of jungle. अब जब मौका मिलता है, then I sing again, not for appreciation. It's because I can. And then I can is not an arrogance. In case of Paramatma Anubhava, it is not arrogance because everybody is so. That royal kingliness to the Atma Anubhava is given because it is not depending on any Pramana Prameya. In fact, all the Pramana Prameya are working in the light of that Atma. The self is there, therefore my intellect is working to know in the field of Pramana Prameya, to know something, even spiritual thing. परमात्मा नहीं है तो ये प्रमाण वहां काम करेगा, कहाँ काम करेगा? Yoga Vasishta in this language talks. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi is a Sad Darshanam ityadi text talk in this language. आरभ्यते जीव जगत परात्मा तत्वाभिधानेन मत समस्तम इदम त्रयम यावदहमति स्यात् सर्वोत्तमाहम सर्वोत्तमाहमति शून्य निष्ठा. What a beautiful, they are all shlokas. We study once. So are you catching what is the meaning of this? Paramatma doesn't fall in the category of Pramana Prameya Vyapara. It is Asangam and it is Ajam. It's not a created knowledge. It is not a knowledge created through the means. When it is Ajam, the Asankrantam already follows. But sometimes Ajam, but it is there, but you may have you like the thing is there, but you went there with your own means. So thing is there is Ajam, but you went to there through means is Sankrantam. Is it like that? Self maybe there always, but you use the Prameya Pramana Vyavahara. No, it is not only unborn, always existing. Secondly, it is self-evident. No need of Pramana Prameya Vyavahara. Therefore, Asangam Tena Kirtitam. What is Asangam Tena Kirtitam? It's interesting thing is about self. Whether you know the self or not, self is not disturbed. Whether you know the entire world or not, the self is not disturbed. After self is known, again when you are in the world or not, self is not disturbed. That is the asangata of that self. Like the entire world is made projected out of self only. कुछ disturbance हुआ क्या उसको? नहीं. Among them, one person who is doing sadhana and reach to the self. After reaching the self, is the world disappearing for him? No. Why? Asangam. Means what? The presence and absence of the imagination of a snake never disturb the rope. That rope is ever there. In the ajam, it is asankramanam. And all your analysis that it cannot be the snake because it is not slimy, it is rough. These are all never creating the rope there. ये प्रमाण प्रमेय व्यवहार के कारण रस्सी नहीं है, रस्सी है, उसके कारण प्रमाण प्रमेय आप कर रहे हो. You have to catch this thought. It's very subtle. Only rare few will have this question. So ajeshu dharmeshu ajnanam ajam asankrantam. तो therefore यतो न क्रमते ज्ञानम तेन असंगम कीर्तितम हो गया. Now भाष्य में कथम महाज्ञानत्वम इति आह. अजेषु means अनुत्पन्नेषु means अचलेषु धर्मेषु. What is the meaning of ajeshu, anutpanneshu and achaleshu? The self which is never born and never gets modified. Of that, atmasu means the self. Ajam achalam cha jnanam ishyate. The experience of it or the knowledge also is unborn and not brought from somewhere else. It is ever there. What is an example? Savitu iva aushnyam prakashascha. Like the heat and light of the sun. That's what we explained yesterday. The sun and his heat and his light. Like that, we use three words, but there are no three things there. And every grammatical language, like light from the sun, light in the sun, light belonging to the sun, they're all the grammars. Light from the sun is ablative case. Light of the sun is sixth case. Light in the sun is seventh case. These are all grammar. When you study the grammar and all, All of them only your grammatical talking. There's nothing like the light and sun separate that you can use any grammar there. हीट ऑफ द सन, सूर्य भगवान का प्रकाश, ऐसा नहीं है वो बोलने को होता है, बट इट इज ऑलवेज वन. सो द आत्मा का ज्ञान ऐसा नहीं होता, आत्मा ही ज्ञान है, ऐसा ज्ञान है जिसको जानने के लिए और कोई प्रयास की जरूरत ही नहीं. Therefore, see the tragedy in Vedanta. Self is self evident, therefore, you cannot know it, need not know it. And what all the prakriyas you are doing are to remove the avidya. Hare, what is you are removing avidya? Avidya means non existing. How can you remove the non existing? विद्यता मीन्स है, अविद्या नहीं है. अबे नहीं है को क्या निकाल रहे हो? जो कुछ है तो उसको आप दिखा निकालते हो ना, जो नहीं है तो कैसे निकाल. दैट इज अ peculiarity in आध्यात्मिकता. It wants to remove the avidya and give you the vidya of the Atma. You can't remove avidya because it was never there. And you can't have the Atma vidya because it is me. Why anybody should need it to be told, to tell me? देखो मजा drama. This final realization is called knowing the truth. At that level, what happens? I was always me and there was never ignorance of me. There is no world projected. But now we are caught up so much in this. Therefore, all the prakriyas are done. You understand it? All prakriyas are only to lead it to this level that there is no avidya which can do the sankramana to me. Therefore, there is no vidya also which is required to do sankramana in me. मैं कभी अपने आप को भूला ही नहीं था और मुझे अपने आप को भी जानने की जरूरत पड़ी. I was never lost to be gained. I was never forgotten to be reminded. I have not gone somewhere else to come. I am not covered by anything to be discovered. I am such an immaculate, pure, conscious existence. How can anything, there's no thing to cover me. कुछ कवर कर नहीं सकती है, कुछ चीज है ही नहीं कवर करने को, है तो भी वो कवर नहीं कर सकती. नो, आई विल टेल यू नेक्स्ट सेंटेंस. एंड येट we are far away from this very nearest truth or the self. For that only the answer given, that is called power of Maya. And what is it doing? It is doing the two impossible things of concealing the self one, then projecting the not self, the world, the two. देखो ऐसा कहते हैं, then don't give importance again to the Maya that it is very powerful and all. You understand? You say it's so powerful that it does it, but then don't value too much beyond that. Only to try to get the Atma Vidya, keep on trying. Now, this last slokas which we are studying last night in Ara, from the standpoint of the Atma Jnani, we have not reached to that. For us, the sadhana kala में हमको विवेक विचार और using the pramana prameya vyavahara ये सब करना ही पड़ता है, because we are at this level. ये सब गाड़ियां हैं, जो पहुंच गया वो गाड़ी से उतरेगा, जरूरत नहीं गाड़ी का, जाओ पार्किंग में. पर हम तो अभी सफर कर रहे हैं, ट्रैवलिंग, सो वी नीड गाड़ी. सवितुः इव औष्ण्यं प्रकाशश्च यतः तस्मात् असंक्रांतम मीन्स अर्थांतरे ज्ञानम अजम इष्यते. मीन्स व्हाट? This type of knowing of the self is not valid in the knowing of the not self. So to the pramana prameya which was required in knowing the not self world won't work here in the Atma Jnana. In other words, at that level, असंक्रांतम असंगम, इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? That alone is there, pure consciousness. In that, the imagination projection of the world is not possible. That is the meaning of the word said here, asankrantam ardhantare ज्ञानम अजम इष्यते. ये ज्ञान ऐसा होता है ना, इस ज्ञान में ना और दूसरी चीज होता ही नहीं उसको इल्यूमिनेट करने के लिए. ओनली एट द माइंड एंड इंटेलेक्ट लेवल there is a thought. In that womb of the thought there is an object's impression that is illuminated with the consciousness. Then we become aware of the thought and we become aware of the object in the thought. Then we say, I have known the thought. Sometimes the thought is subtle, sometimes it is gross. Both are in the mind only. Always याद रखो, जो स्थूल जगत बाहर का है, सूक्ष्म जगत मन का है, दोनों का परमात्मा को संबंध नहीं है, दोनों मन की बात है. At that discussion level of mind, both are equal. After coming from the level of mind little down, we call one as gross, one as subtle. That's because of indriyas. Because of indriya, we call it as gross. In the absence of the sthula indriya, the world is subtle in the dream. I am telling you $1 million point. Listen. The outer world is gross because perceived by the gross senses. Gross senses are not there, therefore, outer gross world is not perceived in the dream. But whether they are gross senses in the gross world and gross objects perceived, subtle senses in the subtle mind in the dream and the subtle objects perceived, all of them are mind. पहली बात, ये बाद की categorization है स्थूला सूक्ष्म, but both are in the mind, and whatever is there in the mind is illusion, not real, because mind itself is avidya. अविद्या मीन्स माया कृत, and माया नामक कुछ चीज है ही नहीं परमात्मा में, साच माया न विद्यते. And all these words we'll discover in our experience. First, now we are listening it, trying to understand them. Then the journey we experience. जैसे कहते हैं ना, वो 100 किलोमीटर दूर है, वो 30 पे होएगा, 50 पे होएगा. So actually when you are traveling, you are seeing at the 30 किलोमीटर पे ये वाला मिला, 50 पे वो आपको होटल मिला है. You actually see what is said before you reach destination. So too we see all these things while we are reaching to the self. They are all clearly experienced. Nahan Dehosmi is not a theory, it is an experience. So too, the world gross and the world subtle are only mind that is experienced there. That in my awareness, the mind given freedom is projecting the gross and subtle world. पक्का पता चलता है उनको, कोई संशय नहीं होता, दिखता है वो, वैसा हमको साधना करना है. खैर, now come to the point. यस्मात् न क्रमते अर्थांतरे ज्ञानम तेन कारणेन असंगम तत्कीर्तितम. Therefore, that jnana is called asangam. Akasha kalpam ityuktam. What is the meaning of akasha kalpama? Means what? In the space, there are cloud, there are the dust, whatever it may be there, yet akasha is always swachha only. It is never touched by anything. Therefore, in the Atma Jnana, the mind comes and projects the world, and in the mind there is a knowledge of the world. In the knowledge of the world, there is ahamidam vritti, and the aham is struggling with the idam. अब जितना भी तमाशा हो जाए, वो उसको टच नहीं कर रहा. That's called as asangam. Hmm. Hmm. That's what. So that is what means. What actually this question and answer has arisen from the word used as mahajnana. So this gives the meaning of mahajnana. Mahajnanam is that anubhuti where pramana praveyadi vyavahara is not required. Ultimately, that Advaita Brahmagnani knows that he is that. Not because intellect said, not because Shastra said, not because Guru said, not because Bhagavan came and blessed, not to oblige somebody. No, 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 it is so. That's called Mahajnana. The Mahajnana of it is both. One, it is not proved because Pramana. Second, because of the absence of Pramana, it is not even disproved. Like the whole world of forms are Pramana Janya Jnanam. Because when the eye is there, then only I can see colors and shapes. Same way, if the eye is not there, you can't see them. Is it not? Therefore, their existence depends on my eye pramana. This is regarding the whole world, regarding even the upadhis of Dehendriya Manabuddhi. But Atma Vastu aisa nahi hai. Kyunki Dehendriya Mahanubuddhi also exists because of the inner conscious self. Without them, they are not. But the conscious self is such one, it can never disappear when the upadhis are not used. Nor it appears because of the upadhis are used and through the upadhi. No. Let the Ananta Koti Brahmandas come and go, self is not disturbed. You understand it? Nor all of them obstruct the vision of the self or the existence of self. वो एक अलग विलक्षण ही स्थिति है उसको. That's what महाज्ञान का उसको. तच्च लोकः न गाहते. अब समझ में आ रहा है? Why it is said the ordinary intellectual people cannot comprehend that sublimity. And these are all very highly meditative level में जब intuitive subtlety develop होती है ना, तब पकड़ में आने वाले बात है. And that won't come unless the Guru Kripa, Ishvara Kripa comes. And that never comes unless we live a disciplined life. Guru Kripa, Ishvara Kripa is Guru Upasana and Ishvara Upasana. Guru Upasana, Ishvara Upasana is not doing puja abhishek to them and living a wretched life outside. Guru Ishvara Upasana is only when we live a life disciplined as told by the Shastra. Because Guru and Bhagavan expresses through us to us through the Shastra. जो वहां जो ले डूज एंड डोंट्स कहा, नॉट द तत्व चिंतन वाला शास्त्र, द डूज एंड डोंट्स ऑफ डिसिप्लिन कहा, उसको करना ही रियल उपासना है. इज इट नॉट? डूइंग पाद पूजा ऑफ द गुरु एंड इन योर ओन बिजनेस यू आर चीटिंग 10 people. Do you think you are doing upasana to the guru and he'll accept that or what? Forget about it. It appears to be totally different. मैं गुरु के पाद पूजा तो किया हूं ना, और खुद अपने बिजनेस में कुछ भी करूंगा नहीं चलता. Guru Upasana is Guru to please Guru. What Guru wants is a purity in you. How the purity comes? When you live pure life. Upasana is to give the other person what he likes, what he wants. That is what hospitality or Upasana. The Lord wants us to be pure. That is what is Upasana of ours. Not that give him Naivedyam or giving. ये सब इस तरह से जो अच्छी बात है एक लेवल में कहा जाता है ना, दूसरे लेवल में उसको अपना ही छोड़ोगे तो वही बुरा बनता है. See the contradiction, I tell you. Bhagavan says, live a pure life, that is our upasana. And this Bhakta says, I have done upasana to you, whatever the impure life I did, you forgive me and you sanction results to me. In fact, he is a contradictory Bhakta actually. भगवान कहते हैं live a pure life, that is upasana. And I tell to him, I lived all nonsense life, but I did upasana to you as I chose, and you should forgive me for all my faults. And I insist on him कि मैं आपका भक्त हूं, मेरे पापों को क्षमा करो. अबे तुम्हें भक्त है तो पाप क्यों करेगा? This will never get sorted out unless we become subtle in our understanding. Bhagavan is not there to do our maafi of our papa. That is wrongly taking of Bhagavan. भगवान को गलत रूप में लेना हो कि भगवान मेरे पापों को माफ करेंगे. नो, भगवान का अर्थ है जो मुझे पाप करने नहीं देते. माफ थोड़ी करते हैं. माफ करो का अर्थ क्या हुआ? करो करके ही है ना पाप. नेचुरली पाप करने से पाप जाता है कि पाप छोड़ने से पाप जाता है? बोलो थोड़ा पाप कर खा के. So direct, no? Is there any brain extra required to understand this simple logic? Either sin will end by ending it or sin will end by doing it. छोटा बच्चा बोलेगा वो. Well, logical fallacy it is. That I do the sin and ask the Lord, He'll forgive. Means what? I must do it again, again. In fact, a stage will come. Why should I make the Lord Berojgar? His job is to clear my sins. Therefore, at least for His sake, let me do the path. So that I can make the Lord employed. दिस इज दिमाग काम करता है भैया, वो गलत काम करता है वो. दैट्स द मीनिंग. ओके, यस्मात् न क्रमते अर्थांतर ज्ञानो तेन कारणेन असंगम तत्कीर्तितम आकाशकल्पम इत्युक्तम. नाउ इमीडिएटली द डाउट कम्स. कूटस्थम ब्रह्म एव स्वमते ज्ञानम असंगम सिद्ध्यति इत्युक्तम. मतांतरे पुनः सविषयत्व अज्ञानस्व असंगत्वम असंगतम प्रसज्येत इत्याह. Or another is what? This for 97 sloka again talks about those are only talking theory, living the life at the Dvaita. I will पांच ऐड करेंगे, उसका जो रस बताएंगे. कल जो है भाष्य क्या कहते हैं? अणुमात्रेपि वैधर्म्ये जायमाने अविपश्चितः असङ्गता सदा नास्ते किमुतावरणच्युतिः अणुमात्रेऽपि वैधर्म्ये जायमाने विपश्चितः असङ्गता सदा नास्ति किमुतावरणच्युतिः. So they are double, triple PhD level shlokas they are. And it becomes so tough for us to explain and more tough for you to catch it also. He says, even a trace and iota of Vaidharmya also is produced and created by the seeker. Even on the name of Pramana Prameya Vyavahara, immediately, because the two things are there, inevitably they'll have Sangha with each other. When they have Sangha with each other, how in the Avarana Bhanga can happen, after which alone the self is released. So, for an avipashchit person who has not understood the nature of the self thoroughly, Anumatre bhi Vaidharme Jayamane, when he is imagining, creating, projecting even a trace of Vidharmata, something other than the self, in the form of even Pramana Prameya, you have heard then Asangata Sadanasti, he will never have Asangata, and other than Asangata, when their Asangata is not gone, Kimuta Avarana Chuti, then how will he have the Avarana Bhanga to know the self? No, this is very subtle shloka. Huh? This needs 10 days explanation. एक thought आज बताकर छोड़ता हूँ. What is that? In the sangha or attachment, always there will be avarana. That the self is always concealed. If you want to have the experience of the self, the avarana should go away. The only and one and the only thing which can help us, the bhanga of the avarana, removal of the covering is asangata. As long as you have sangha, you have an avarana. Like as long as I have sangha to you, with whatever the relation, Shatru or Mitra or Bandhu or even I talk to you according to your own upadhis, that you are intelligent, you are good or you are bad, you are rich or poor. All these thoughts about you in me are the Sangha. Till the time the Avarana Bhanga will not happen, then I will not know you as the pure self. Because so many Sanghas are there, then how can the Avarana Bhanga will happen? It will never happen. I will only take you as a seeker or a listener or a friend or a well wisher. ये सारे आवरण है, ये सब जो है संग है. Then how with so many sangha the avarana bhanga can happen? See that important thought here. Therefore, there is no way other than being a sangha. Then only the avarana bhanga means you know the self as it is. So, and where from the sangha is happening? Because of Vaidharmya. And to have the Sangha and Vaidharmya, you need not have the so much of differentiation of millions. Anumatrevi Vaidharmya. Even a iota of the Vidharmata you give reality to, immediately there is a Sangha. With the Sangha there is no removal of Avarana, then you will never have the experience of the self as it is. It is very powerful shloka. Tomorrow we'll talk. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha Paramarashibhyo Namaha Parabrahmane Shrutimatre Namaha Mandukamarshi Namaha Gaudavada Acharyavarya Namaha Adya Shankaradgure Namaha Om Tatsat Brahmarpanamastu. ओम अजेश्वजम असंक्रांतम धर्मेशु ज्ञानमीश्यते यतो न क्रमते ज्ञानम असंगम तेन कीर्तितम अणुमात्रेऽपि वैधर्म्ये जायमाने अविपश्चितः असंगता सदा नास्ति किमुतावरणच्युतेः अलब्धावरणाः सर्वे धर्माः प्रकृतिनिर्मलाः आदौ बुद्धास्तदा मुक्ताः बुध्यन्ते इति नायकाः क्रमतेन हि बुद्धस्य ज्ञानं धर्मेषु तापिनः सर्वे धर्माः सदा ज्ञानं नैतद्बुद्धेन भाषितं दुर्दशमति गम्भीरम् अजं साम्यं विशारदम् ऊर्ध्वापदम् अनानात्वं नमस्कुर्म यथा बलम् ॐ अजमभिजनियोगं प्रापदैश्वर्ययोगात् अगति च गतिमत्तां प्रापदेकं ह्यनेकं विविधविषयधर्मग्राहिमुग्धेक्षणानां प्रणतभयविहन्तृब्रह्म यत्तन्नतोऽस्मि प्रज्ञावैशाखवेदक्षुभितजलनिधेर्वेदनाम्नोऽन्तरस्थं भूतान्यालोक्यमज्ञानि अविरतजननग्राहघोरे समुद्रे कारुण्यादुद्धधारामृतमिदम् अमरैर्दुर्लभं भूतहेतोः यस्तं पूज्याभिपूज्यं परमगुरुममुं पादपातैर्नतोऽस्मि यत्प्रज्ञालोकभासा प्रत्यतिमगमत् स्वान्तमोहान्धकारः मज्जोन्मज्ज च घोरे असत्कृतुपजनो धन्वतित्रासने मे यत्पादावाश्रितानां श्रुतिसमविनय प्राप्तिरग्राह्यमोघा तत्पादौ पावनीयौ भवय विनुदौ सर्वभावैर्नमस्ये। ओम 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 शांति। थैंक यू। 10-15 मिनट